Hello, welcome back to another episode of Classic Model Trains. It takes me a while to make these videos. It takes about 3 days. It takes just a single day of just editing. My son, I have bestowed upon you all of my knowledge and skills to build this fortress as a shrine to your childhood passion. To possess a valuable skill set, able to repair these fine model trains. The creativity to be able to record these actions onto video and distribute them globally. My son, you are spending too much time making your videos fancy. You should go back to the basics. But I want my videos to stand out from the rest. You do stand out from the rest. You're 6 feet 7 inches tall. We can see you for miles. Well, that don't count. You can't tell that on television. Fine. Then roll more footage of the dogs. Well, that'll be easy enough to do. We're going to do a dismantle and review video on this Bachmann 060 DCC locomotive. She's hard to work with, you know. She really is. Let's get into it. I wanted to clean this up. I think it was overfilled with smoke juice. And there is just a phenomenal amount of oil all over this thing, and it was over oiled really bad, and it's all dripping down in here. So plus I kind of want to see how it works, so I'm going to disassemble it. The boiler, to get it off, you've got this one screw right here, and then there's some little tiny screws right up in there, right there on each side. So you got to get those guys out. And then the $1,000 question is, you got to come up underneath here and you got to flex the plastic a little bit underneath of this, because there is a lock underneath there. So there's one side. Maybe I can get the other side here. Now the other side locked on me. It's kind of like you got to spread them both at the same damn time. It's almost as if they were engineered not to be taken apart. Okay, I unlock one side, then the other side locks. So I'm going to try two at once here. It's one of those where you need a lot of hands. There. So there's these little tits right here that the locomotive's on, with little holes right there. So this is of course a DCC locomotive smoker. Right here's the smoke unit. And this guy running off is the on-off switch for the smoke unit. So I'm going to have to try to figure out how to get these wires desoldered so that I can get this out. I can start cleaning all this stuff, disassembling it more. Well, I desoldered the orange one off, and I am going to take this blue one. I'm just going to cut it. The blue one is what brings the power out of the decoder going to the smoke unit. I'm not sure if the smoke unit works or not, but if I hook the power back up, at least when it's off, I can look at it, check it, see what things are doing. Tin the wire up a little bit. Okay. These frames are called a split frame, because there's half of it down this side right here is picking up from this set of wheels. Half of it's over here. So underneath these wires, you can see how the frame has just got a complete split in it. So this is how it's separating, of course, the two pickup sides. And then the motor, since it's DCC, is being taken care of right here. Here are the two voltage pickups, red and black. Yellow and brown going to the motor for the DCC operation. I think I'm going to clean this whole thing up before I attempt to... Oh my God, there's just so much oil all over it. Interesting thing with these pickups down here, when you take this bottom off, here are the pickups. They rub on the inside of the wheels, and then it delivers the juice up through these two pins right here, which rub on the frame right up in there. So that is how this picks up. So it's got 6-wheel pickup, and there is no traction tires on this thing, so it can use all 6 wheels. That's why this locomotive is a little better than the older ones. The other ones with the traction tires, you'd only have 4 pickups, and they're really close together, so it'd stall out on the frogs. Right there's the pickups. See all this oil all over it? This thing has just been grossly over-oiled. So that's why I'm taking it apart so I can clean it all up. Glue this stuff back on. Check the smoker and see if it works. Get her back up on the track. There's so much oil and smoke juice on this locomotive. As I was trying to clean it off with Q-tips and mineral spirits, it's just all over the place. It's super hard. So I'm going to use some brake clean here. I'm just going to avoid this decoder area right here and see if this will work and get this job done a little. There's a lot of things that one can learn on this channel, and there's a lot of things that one can learn not to do on this channel. And definitely do not use this if you want items that have paint on them to continue to have paint on them. Somehow I managed to forget, and I managed to take most of the paint off the spoked wheels on this particular locomotive. You really can't see it very much. I'm not going to repaint it, but no, not a good idea. Something else to clean up stuff that's not as volatile as this. Whew. Well, hell, I'm into it this far. Let's see how we keep going. Let's just see what it's made out of. I see there's 3 screws right here that are holding the 2 frames together. And they've got little backers, plastic backers on the back right here and here and here. And those backers have a tendency to spin out as you're taking the screw out. So you got to kind of keep those in place while you back the screw out. Right there's those little plastic backers. Insulators would probably be a better word for it. Now, can I separate this frame yet? Oh, look at that. I can. Let me get this negative screw out of here for the power pickup for the DCC decoder. So there's 1/2 the frame. Here's the other half of the frame. Some wiring, the smoke device. Seems to be broken. Here's our can motor and our gearing going down to our final drive. Now, of course, this does have good grease in it. The reason I did take this apart was because of the oil that was spilled all over the dang place. Non-sound decoders are awfully tiny. I'm sure this is the original Bachmann decoder, which, isn't nothing to write home about. So much oil. Insulator pin right there. Insulating washer right there. Oh, my. Here's a pin right here. Here's a washer back there. Should be another washer right there. I'm guessing this is where these insulators came through. There's 1. There's 2. This is what keeps the frame separated so it doesn't short out. 3 spacers. Non-conductive. These 3 bolts hold the frame together. Plus there's a couple of alignment pins right here. 1 here at the front, 1 here at the back. I am going to keep on trying to clean this up. These gear oil's been contaminated with thin oil, so it's all kind of jelly-like. I took all the parts and washed it in a gentle soap and water solution. I didn't get the motor or the decoder or anything like that wet. Get all that oil and smoke juice off there. So let it dry overnight. Now let's begin reassembling. I'm going to begin reassembling this split chassis here and put these insulator pieces on. These only go in one way. There's a square slot right there. So you put the square end of this, basically a plastic nut and spacer assembly. Oh, this is pretty much what I assumed would happen. Everything kind of wants to fall out all at the same time when you're working on it. Got my 3 spacers, put my 2 alignment pins in, get my 2 gears in. We got to get our motor put into its location, and we'll put our other half of the shell on. Oh, holy moly. I might have pulled it off. Give these guys all a little bit of oil here. Put our pickups in. which of course is a bit of a workout just on its own. Getting all the wipers to line up without bending them the wrong direction. Which is a trick out there somebody knows about. Okay, all the wipers are in. Get this bottom plate lined up. So now I gotta get this steam chest epoxied back into place over here. Use a beer can bottom as a fine mixing reservoir. So I'm using an epoxy because this plastic steam chest had a small plastic pin which pushed into this aluminum frame right here. And of course it broke off. So trying to glue that to that's going to be pretty tough. So I thought, well, maybe if I use some epoxy on here, it'll do a better job of holding everything together. Give me more surface to work with. Then this silly little pin right here. Every one of these Bachmann 060s I've got, this pin breaks off right in the same spot. So I had the opportunity to put the wires back in for the decoder, and I figured I will tape it down and we will take it over to the track and give it a test spin before we put her all back together. Well, it made a trip around the track running on DC. So now let's switch over to the DCC side of it. 4 drops in it. I'm not seeing any smoke. Well, let's switch this over to DC and see if we can get some smoke coming out of that thing. That's what I call a non-smoking smoking unit. Well, I've determined the reason that it doesn't smoke is because the heating coil inside there has an open circuit. So, and I only just wanted to see it smoke just a little bit. I believe that all the oil that was spilled all over the unit was from smoke being poured in and then overflowed and just flowed down everything and made a gigantic mess. So I do not care to have the smoke operating at all, because I think the smoke is just this. Ugh. Some units are fun. This unit here I think is horrible with smoke. So get this body back on. Front of the body's got to be spread out to get this back in. That might have been the magic click right there. I need to get some more powerful peepers on so I can put these little tiny screws in that go up in the front up here. I'm really pretty happy that they haven't ended up on the floor yet, so that's a bonus. Well, let's see, after I've manhandled it enough here, let's see if it'll still work. I was running it around the track and the tender was picking points and it doesn't weigh very much, so I added another 3/4 of an ounce to it. Had to take the trucks off. They had a screw hidden under there. I'm going to put some metal wheels on the trucks also, because I wasn't real happy with the way it was running over my really cheap switches. I'm going to take a truck tuner after that and tune those, because that does not roll good at all. That's better. Now let's do it 3 more times. Put some Walther's Proto metal wheels under there. When I took this apart, I seen that it's one of them Bachmann look-alike Cadies. So I put a 127 in back there, plus an extra 3 ounces of weight to get it to track a little better. And I'm hoping that this is going to improve the performance of the tender, because it was sucking. I'm pretty happy the way it performs on the switches now. That tender wouldn't go through hardly any of these damn switches. So I'm liking it. Give her a little switching time here. Got this little load of reefers that I've been working on to clean up. See how well it pulls these around the track. I know it's just a little switcher. It's not made to pull a lot of weight, but let's just try it out anyway. Little hesitation on my switch there. That's an electro frog that I've just never ever wired up. This is my Hill of Doom. That's about what I thought. It's doing the I think I can. 5 cars, metal trucks, weighted to NMRA standards. But that hill, everything has a problem on that hill unless you got a real locomotive. We'll take these guys and we'll put them back home. Oh, you bugger. It got right on top of my frog and then it just quit. Because that's what they do. In 2016, this had a retail price of $159. Bachmann stuff kind of scares me. The cracked gear era, the this, the that. You know, they've got 12 steps of entry level up to collector's quality, and who knows what all that, not me. So, you know, I got this used. If you buy one, 20, 30 bucks, sure, great deal. But it runs a little better than my older ones. Here's just an old DC, or a DC one right here. It's better than that, but that's my review on them. Hope you enjoyed it. Bye-bye.